Hello everybody and welcome back to week 3 of Prediction Center at 3SB. We're still doing NFL predictions. Even though predictions have not gone so well for our teams, I blamed them for the Colts loss and vice versa with the Eagles. So that being said, let's go straight into predictions.
Just a disclaimer, Michael's not here if you're wondering because he actually has hockey practice tonight, so he couldn't make it. But I got his picks in front of us. So I'm just going to give out whatever he says when it comes time for that game.
Cool. Michael's opinion is actually pretty good. He finished last week at what record?
He finished... we all finished pretty bad, actually.
I was 6-9. You were 5-10.
5 and
Mike
10.
Mike was 4.
I'll get it right.
4-11. That's what he was.
I believe he was... Yeah, Michael was 4-11, yeah.
Alright.
So we all sucked this week.
I won. But,
you won, but I think I still have the best overall record.
Yeah.
But hopefully next week will be a lot better. So let's just jump straight to the Thursday nighter, and we'll kick it off with we got the Redskins at the Giants. I don't know how I feel about this.
Since this is a division matchup for you, I'm gonna go right away and say the Giants have to win a game. Tom Coughlin is extremely pissed off at his team. You saw it in the press conference on Sunday. Sorry, after who did they play?
The Falcons.
The Falcons, right? It was pretty much they dropped the ball again.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're gonna do it again against the Redskins. That being said, it's a primetime game. Kirk Cousins might throw a curveball at us, but I'm going Giants on this one.
Yeah, I feel like the Redskins are coming off a little bit hot, and the Giants are obviously on a low, but the Giants still are the better team. So I'm gonna take the Giants on this one too. That being said, I think the Redskins put up a fight, and like you said, it's a bit of a coin toss.
Who did Michael pick for that one?
Michael's pick for that one was the Giants of New York. So that's
New York Football Giants.
Yeah. So Michael's pick.
So it's a unanimous Giants pick, I guess, and I'm gonna go with another bold prediction. Say Odell Beckham Jr. is gonna have a pretty big night. So let's go on to game number 2. Alright, so now for game number 2, we got the Atlanta Falcons visiting Dallas to play the Cowboys. And the Falcons are having an incredible start to their season.
Yeah, visiting the whole NFC East.
Very surprising, yeah. I did not think they'd be at this point, but hey, Julio, right? So I really think the Cowboys' injuries are going to finally catch up to them. And I think the Falcons, in a close game, still... managed to pull off a win in Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. I think Falcons take this one. I think the Cowboys' injuries are definitely going to catch up to them. No Dez, no Romo.
Yeah. The defense is still good.
You know what? They shut me up, but I still think the Eagles shot themselves more in the foot than the Cowboys, but that has nothing to do with this game. So, but I do think that Julio Jones will have a field day against a bit of a weaker cornerback system with the Cowboys, so I'm definitely taking the Falcons on this one. And Michael, he picked the Atlanta Falcons as well. Obviously, he didn't put it in order to make life easier for us. Yeah. But Michael's got the Falcons, so we're all on the Falcons with this one across the board.
Which probably means we're all wrong. So let's go on to the next game on the schedule.
Our next Sunday matchup is this guy's Colts versus the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. He's not allowed to talk for this one. We're all not allowed to talk for our own team, so he's going to keep his mouth completely quiet for this one. And it's just going to be me with Michael's picks as well. I guess I'll give Michael's pick first. He's going with the Indianapolis Colts. He's got some hope riding for them. Me, I'm going to take the Colts on this one too. I think Andrew Luck has a lot to prove, especially a divisional matchup. Mariota's good, but I don't think he's going to be able to handle the pressure of facing the Colts. So me and Michael are both on the Indianapolis Colts this one. We're hoping for his sake that they take it because we all need a break, especially us two. So we're praying for this guy to finally get a W for the Colts, and on to the next one.
There comes a time in every football schedule where you think, this game is going to ruin any bet I make on it. We've arrived at that game. Oakland visiting the Cleveland Browns. Michael not being here can't make a selection. Pretty sure he picked the Raiders on this one, right?
probably doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure he's going with his team. He's on a high right now, so I'm pretty sure he's sticking with them.
I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. The reason being, I just don't know. I'm just picking randomly on this one. The Raiders surprised me against the Ravens, but I really just feel like that was more an off game by the Ravens than an on game by the Raiders. And I don't know, the Browns seem to just be using this quarterback switching to their advantage. They seem to be just getting by on it. So I'm going to go Browns just as a wild card.
You know what? I'm a bit torn on this one because the Raiders shut me up this week, but I still agree with you that the Raiders got more lucky because the Ravens were a bit off. I think they weren't prepared for them properly. Definitely underestimated them because they do have talent in some places, but definitely not enough across the board.
Yeah.
But the Ravens did not take that into consideration. That being said, the Browns are going back to Josh McCown, which I think will be a big mistake. I think the Raiders, being on a high, are going to take this one. I think Manziel ends up coming into the game, but it's going to be a little too late. They'll make a comeback, but it kind of hurts. Even though I'm not against the Raiders, I don't feel like they're that good. But I'm taking the Raiders to win this one in a close one. A close and fun fourth quarter with a Johnny Manziel comeback, but not enough.
All right. Hey, Cleveland, why are you keeping Johnny Football away from the people? Next game.
Next up, we got the Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Division game.
Yeah. I guess we'll give Michael's pick first. He's picking Baltimore to win this one. I think he does believe that the Raiders got a bit lucky, although he does believe his team's good to win, but definitely not enough to beat them. So he's got Baltimore in this one.
I'm going to buck my trend of never picking Cincinnati, and I'm going to pick Cincinnati because, honestly, they do have a good team, defensively especially. But their offense is the only question mark for me. But with Terrell Suggs being out, I give Dalton the benefit of the doubt. It is regular season after all.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with you. Again, I'm torn. This year in the NFL has been a bit weird. The first couple of weeks,
Definitely been weird.
It's hard to predict. But I'm gonna give the Ravens the win because I feel like they're really angry at themselves for losing to the lowly Raiders, and the Bengals are good. I think offensively they're solid. Defensively they're very good. But I think Joe Flacco is gonna go crazy on them and just do whatever he can to redeem himself after an embarrassing loss. So I'm taking the Ravens.
Let's see what happens. There comes a time in every NFL schedule when you think, who scheduled this game? And this is the game. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in New England.
Poor guys.
New England, to me, they're the Super Bowl champions. I despise them for everything they've done in the past to the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning could be a 4-time Super Bowl champion right now if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
But I gotta admire them, and I mean, do you even have to say picks on this one? I'm picking Patriots all the way.
Yeah, let's forget it. Let's just cut this
we
one.
We don't even need to explain this one. Michael picks Patriots,
yeah.
I pick Patriots, David picks Patriots. Next game.
Finished. Our next Sunday matchup, we got the Golden Saints facing off against the Panthers from Carolina.
Yes. I've not given the Panthers their due this season. The Saints also have been in a couple of, tight games where they kind of let it get away from them. I'm going to go with Carolina on this one, just because, I don't know, they seem to have something going on. They seem to own that division. That's all I'll say right now. They seem like they're that team. So Panthers for me.
Well, I know Michael has selected the Panthers as well, so he's also on the Carolina wagon right now.
He seems to tend to side with defenses.
Yeah, he's got that mentality because he's a former player, so he's got that.
He's our Rex
that
Ryan.
insight on it. Yeah, I don't know. I've been picking the Saints and I've been going against the Panthers every single week, but I still think that the Saints have a strong team, and if Drew Brees is playing, which I think he is, I think Saints are going to take this one.
Tough game to call, but let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Alright, so now it's David's turn to shut his big mouth. And, in this situation, I'd like to get revenge by picking Eagles and saying they'll win and then they'll lose. But I'm actually going to pick the Jets, hoping the Eagles win for Dave. But what's actually going to happen is the Jets will actually win. Because if they could do that to the Indianapolis Colts, they could probably do very much the same to the Eagles, especially if DeMarco Murray doesn't play, which actually might not even be a factor when I think about it. So Jets all the way for me. I know Michael also picked the Jets, and David can't talk. So Jets, Eagles lose.
We got the Pirates up next. Buccaneers facing off against the Houston Texans in Houston. We'll start off with Michael. He's picking Houston to win.
Probably because of JJ Watt.
Yeah, he thinks he's probably gonna take over Winston and just get in his head and physically demolish him. Me personally, I'm not sure exactly who. It's a bit of a coin toss because offensively Houston is lacking, but they obviously got JJ Watt and Bucks are coming off a bit of a high right now. But my instincts are telling me to go with the Texans, so I'm gonna pick the Texans to win a close one.
I'm gonna go Bucks solely on the basis that their offense has more capability. Jameis Winston had a bad first week, but a really good second week. So right now he's 50-50.
Yeah.
But I think he has a little bit of fun experimenting against the Texans. He's on the road. Will that be a factor? We don't know.
It wasn't against New Orleans, which usually
yeah.
is a big one. So.
That's true. I'm gonna go Buccaneers just based on I think Winston's got a chip on his shoulder from week 1 and he hasn't gotten over it yet. See what happens. All right. So next up we have two teams I really dislike because they seem to do the opposite of what I say all the time. So this game might end with nobody winning.
Yeah.
Chargers, Vikings. I go Chargers. Last week, I don't know what happened, but that's uncharacteristic in my opinion. I really think the Chargers are more well suited to handle the Vikings, unless Adrian Peterson has a 200-yard game, which doesn't happen unless you're a Pats running back against the Colts. So I'm gonna go with Chargers on this one.
I'm going to take the Chargers too. I think the Bolts come out on top. I think Peterson had a big game last week, but I think he's going to be tame. I think he needed to get that out of his system, and I think now, although I'm sure he's still hungry and he wants to prove he's still the best, I still think that he's not going to be able to do that just because he's facing an overall better team, and I think the Chargers in the end come out on top. I know Michael has also picked San Diego because he does feel that overall, again, Chargers have a more solid team across the board, so we're all in on the Chargers this week.
They're a consistent team, and Minnesota's just not shown anything consistent enough for me to pick them.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's see what happens. That's why they play the games.
So next up is the St. Louis Rams hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you got?
I love the Steelers. I hate them as an organization, but I love them as an organization. Personal hate, professional love.
Yeah.
But that being said, the Rams really let me down last week, and Jeff Fisher, I don't think wants to see that happen again, especially that they know they can beat the Seahawks. I mean, granted without Cam Chancellor, but still, it's the Seahawks. So I'm going to go with the Rams against the Steelers to win.
I'm going to go against what I've been going for this whole time, and I'm going to pick the Steelers finally this week. I think they're showing that they're a consistent team. They got a good running game. Bell's back this week. And D'Angelo Williams is going to have a strong outing. Even though he's back to the backup role, I think they put him in for especially third down situations. He's definitely going to be involved in the game, and I'm taking the Steelers to win it. Rams really disappointed me, and they proved that they're still not a team that's ready to compete yet. Although they got pieces, they're not up there just yet, so I think the Steelers do take this one. And I know Michael also did pick the Steelers this week to win for pretty much the same reasons. Steelers overall better team, Rams good pieces but not enough to get them to win, as they proved versus the Redskins.
The Rams are my dark horse. Let's see what happens. Alright, so here we have a division matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. Who do you pick, Dave?
I'm going to go in the Cardinals. I think Cards are going to take this in almost easy fashion. They're proving that they're still a very strong team. Good defense, good offense, great across the board. Niners are feeling a lot of pain. They guard a lot of players retired. They got torched against the Vikings last week. So the Niners, although they had a good strong start to the season in week 1, last week was, in my opinion, horrific. So I think the Cards are going to take this in relatively easy fashion.
Yeah. Bruce Arians is a phenomenal coach who I respect very much. And by getting Carson Palmer in that system with Larry Fitzgerald, it seems like no one can really fully figure it out when they're all healthy.
Yeah.
Cards all the way for me. Who did Mike pick?
Michael, I don't know anything. Michael picked the Cardinals to win as well. Again, better team across the board. Arizona, I was about to say Phoenix, hockey. Arizona is a better team across the board. Niners, like I said, prove that they're just not there yet, and they have a lot to deal with before they're going to be able to compete with teams like this.
It's really unfortunate what happened to the 49ers.
Yeah, their window closed very fast.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Divisional matchup, Buffalo Bills in Miami to face the Dolphins. What do you got?
I think the Bills spend some time at the beach, work on their tans, and lay a defensive smackdown on the Dolphins. I know firsthand what the Bills are capable of doing. They put up a really good fight against the Patriots. The Patriots were just... I think the Patriots didn't let anything get to their head. I mean, the Bills had a really good start to the game, but the Patriots just stormed right back and answered the call.
Yeah.
I don't think the Dolphins can do the same. I go Bills all the way on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo. The Patriots last week, like you said, the Bills showed up against the Patriots, and they proved that they're still a strong team. Rex Ryan's a good coach. LaShawn McCoy's a great running back. They got a lot of pieces, especially on defense, to make a strong push. And Miami dropped the ball against the Jaguars big time. They lost the Florida Bowl, if you want to call it that. Snooze fest is more like it. But the Dolphins, I don't think stand much of a chance. I don't know what's wrong with that team. They got some pieces where they can make at least games competitive and win the easy ones.
I always explain the Dolphins this way: is that you can get a bunch of puzzle pieces together, but if they're not part of the same puzzle, you're not going to see a very good picture. Yeah. And they seem to always try and grab a certain piece, but their quarterback doesn't fit with their receivers. Their defense is not a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And the Bills is the total opposite. I mean, when I saw their defense play, everywhere any quarterback threw the ball, someone was there, ready to tip or catch it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bills.
Yeah, and Michael's got the Bills too on this one. We're all across the board taking Buffalo. Almost maybe in a blowout fashion. It could be.
It could be pretty terrible.
Dolphins, I mean, Sue's been 2 weeks. He's already being a huge distraction. I mean, that team needs to be completely done, like from the bottom up.
Yeah. Completely
everything. So I guess we'll see what happens. And
I mean, we all picked the Bills, so the Dolphins might actually win.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens next week. So this matchup is between the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm taking the Seahawks. I don't think I have to explain that.
Yeah, Seahawks. Michael's got Seahawks all across the board. I love the city of Chicago.
Great city.
Bulls, I love them. I love the Cubs. Chicago Blackhawks, probably the best team in the NHL.
CM Punk is from Chicago.
CM Punk's from Chicago. Everything's going for that city except the Bears, and in horrible fashion.
Yeah. Sorry, Ditka. Yeah. It's Seahawks.
Sunday nighter this week is the Denver Broncos at the Detroit Lions. What do you got?
I'm super excited. Every time I see Denver in prime time, I get to see Peyton Manning again.
When isn't he in prime time?
With Chris Collinsworth talking over him. It just makes sense to me. That's how I grew up watching the game. And I got Broncos on this one just because their defense has been really impressive. And their offense has sputtered along. But, I mean, you saw last week Peyton passed 70,000 yards of a career, and I think he's really hungry to hit 72. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos too. I think the Lions might make it a bit competitive because they're a pretty solid team, but they have dropped the ball the last 2 weeks. But Peyton Manning prime time, it's just I don't remember ever seeing him lose in prime time minus versus the Patriots.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the only time. But this is not the Patriots. It's the other blue team. The blue team that lost 16 games in one season. So
the anti-Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Broncos take this one, and Michael also has picked his beloved Denver Broncos. Much as it pains him, he even wrote it down for me. It pains him to say it, but he's taking the Broncos. We're all on the Broncos this week.
Let's see what happens. Alright, so the last game of the week is the Monday Nighter, and this was actually a really good matchup, I hope. Kansas City Chiefs, who are coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Denver Broncos at home, visiting the Green Bay Packers in probably the most intimidating stadium in football, Lambeau Field, and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. They're Super Bowl champion team. Aaron Rodgers is a cerebral, athletic quarterback. Clay Matthews on defense with the rest of the squad they have, just genius defense. And their offense, that we were also concerned about, seems to have improved, if that's even possible. Kansas City, they just seem to not be able to win those games they need to win. Big division game, they drop the ball with 2 touchdowns in 9 seconds.
Andy Reid.
It speaks to the team. They might pull off an upset. I don't think it happens this week. Packers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. Like you said, they just can't win it. And from experience, Andy Reid has a tendency to drop the ball in big games, divisional games, when they matter most. He has a great record. He's my favorite coach of all time. I appreciate what he's done for my team. From the bottom of my heart, I love him to death. But I just don't think that, first of all, Kansas City has enough to beat the Packers just on their players, roster, talent standpoint. Plus, it's in Green Bay. Chiefs, I just don't think they have enough to win it. I think Packers take it. It could be competitive. It will be competitive. Maybe an upset, but Packers take it. A pretty high-scoring game, actually.
Who did Michael pick for this game?
He has the Packers as well. I think he thinks that he obviously doesn't like the Chiefs much because of divisions. Purpose, but he respects them. He knows what they got. He knows that they're a strong force. But at the same time, we all agree that the Packers are at another level, and the Chiefs are maybe on the way there, but not exactly there. And again, the Andy Reid factor. This guy just can't close out big games for some reason. But on Monday nighters, he has from my experience, I remember a lot of wins on Monday nights. So, we'll see what happens, I guess.
I'm just going to say, if Jamal Charles has one more big game to make up for last week, his mistake, they should just change the logo to JC and end it right there. He is the team.
Yeah.
But we all said Packers. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So that's been it for Prediction Center this week. Michael wasn't here for hockey, but he should be back next week. Well, all 3 of us will be here, hopefully. And that's it, guys. So we'll see you next week.